everyone, welcome to a new edition of Humanology Tips. I'm Jessica Lockhart and I am with
Jane Soul.
It's great to see you here, guys. We are resuming these sessions, these programs, these lives, because, well, we were asked to by some of our followers. Thank you. So we're going to be connecting every Monday at 9 o'clock our time here in Panama, which is around 4 o'clock in Central Europe, and about 8 o'clock in the morning, early for our Miami followers. Sorry for the times, but we have to find a time that suits everyone. And we decided to do this weekly because many countries are already opening up and are restricting their confinement to milder limitations. So we thought it'd be enough with just once a week. And we're going to make it a little longer so we can give you more tips, more ideas, and more proposals to deal with whatever situation it is that you're dealing with. The procedure is going to be the same though. We invite you to use Messenger. You can connect with us live. You can ask us your questions. You can pose your problems, your fears, your concerns, and we will try and answer whatever solutions we can come up with live. And then if any other solutions come up later, we can always write them down on Messenger for everyone to read. And furthermore, each of the Humanology tips will then be uploaded into our YouTube channel, so you won't be missing any of them. You'll all get the benefit of all the different tools, and you will enjoy all the different strategies and tips we offer you weekly. We already have like 20-something episodes on our YouTube channel and here on our International Institute of Humanology Facebook page. So scroll down and listen to all of them and get all your ideas and your tips if you haven't done yet. Okay? So what is the topic we're going to be dealing with today, James?
Today we're going to be talking about house chores and how doing house chores can actually benefit us and help us with our everyday lives. Isn't that interesting?
Really? I hate house chores. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, for the most part, me too, but I think that the topic itself is quite interesting.
Yes, no, I agree. I was just joking. I think that, well, most of us in this confinement have learned that, hi, Mete saying hello, good to see you again, good to see you too, yes. So as I was saying, we have all learned that there's a lot of work in a household. And if you weren't in charge of that before, you might have been in charge of it now, and you might have realized the great amount of work that a person has to deal with and has to carry out on a daily basis at home. And we decided, well, if you are confined, if you are in a lockdown, if you still can't go out, or even if you can, well, the household has to continue running and all the chores have to continue being done. So we decided to offer you some tools and ideas on how to turn it into something positive, something enjoyable, or at least to make them a little less heavy and burdensome and boring and unbearable. So I will start like we usually do with a general overview and a few tips, and then of course James will give us his invaluable contribution because, as you know, he's the brain here, he's the creative one, and the one who always gives us the brightest and best ideas. From the point of view of humanology, I would like to say that any type of chore that is repetitive, like household chores, and this you can then apply to everything else you do, okay? So it's not just house chores. Any repetitive activity can become boring, can become a burden, can be like, oh, again? I don't want to I don't want to go on doing the same things and repeating the same things day after day after day. Well, how can we deal with that? There are, in fact, certain things in life that we just have to keep on doing. We eat every day, don't we? So we have to cook. We need clothes, right? So, well, we should probably wash them and keep them clean. So how can we do things so they're not that boring, so they're like enjoyable and can make us feel a little pleasure and a little enjoyment? That's what this is about today. We are saying that activities can become boring and can become unpleasant. How can we turn them into something pleasant? We already spoke about creating and maintaining energy as human beings through passion. When there's no passion for something, then we have no energy for that. But whenever we feel passionate about something, then we have the energy, don't we? Think about that for a minute. What is it that you're passionate about? Think about it. Yeah, you watching us. What are you passionate about? James, can you think of something that makes you feel passionate about?
Oof, I can think of quite a few.
Okay, can you give us an example? I'll mention one of mine too. I'm really passionate about my job. You can see it, huh? Every time I'm talking here, I'm like, ah! Humanology is my passion. Talking to human beings is my passion. Helping others is my passion, and you can tell. What about you, James? What are you passionate about?
Well, for example, one of the things that I'm passionate about is the arts.
And your cat that just came into the room. Sorry, if you hear some meowing, is a cat who's also very passionate about our humanology tips and comes and visits once in a while.
Yes.
So you're passionate
about arts and the animals.
So you're passionate about arts. So can you give us an example of how that passion makes you feel energized?
Sure. Actually, talking about house chores, for example, I don't particularly enjoy doing house chores, but one way that I do them much quicker and in a nicer, more pleasant way is by putting on some music.
Aha! So music is your passion.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Music is one of the arts, and I like all types of arts. I like music, art, theater, anything that has to do with the creative. Cooking is an art as well, you know. And I try to apply those passions to my day-to-day life because they help me and they motivate me and they kind of also show me what path to take, you know, because, for example, if I'm doing an activity and I don't see that there's anything there that I could use in that sense, I might not necessarily do that, and I might say, okay, now I'm going to do another activity. I'm going to go that way instead. So I use the arts, my passion, for everything, actually. So I think
Okay, I'm sorry, I got lost there.
All right.
You were saying, I do an activity and then I change it. I'm sorry, you
I'll
lost me
explain,
there.
no worries.
Okay, explain it again, please.
So basically, the way that I see it is, because I'm passionate about the arts, I can use the arts, so different elements. That's why I said there's more than just music. There's art, there's theater, cooking, all of those things I use to my day-to-day life as well.
Okay, but give us one practical example.
Okay, for example, if I'm choosing a job, okay? If I have to choose a job and I'm not really sure which one I want to take, and I have two options, I'll choose based on which one can be most creative in, where I can see the arts more rather than in the other one, for example.
Okay, now I understand. All right.
Exactly. Yep. So not only do I use them like that, but I can use them, for example, with house chores, which is a simple example that we were giving before.
Okay, so if I understand you right, you are saying, for example, imagine I have to cook every day. Well, cooking is an art in itself, and you feel passionate about it. But if I told you, okay, you have to vacuum clean the house every day, you might say, again? No, I hate it. So you might maybe dance while you're vacuum cleaning, or maybe listen to music. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay, all right. So that's the first tip. If you hate doing house chores, why don't you turn them into something fun? Why don't you add a little art to the activities you have to carry out every day and make them fun? I hate ironing. Well, in fact, I'm not supposed to iron because of the position, but whenever I have to do it, I usually put some music on and I iron dancing to the beat of the music. And it makes it more fun. For example, you know? So yes, we can use the arts to feel more passionate about what we are doing. Sorry. Imagine we're talking about how to help our children not feel so discouraged with household chores. Well, I don't know if you know this, I suppose you do, but in Asian countries, every child is taught that keeping their own personal spheres clean and tidy is something positive. Here in Europe, children are taught that household chores are that, chores. And as that, they are heavy burdens to carry out every day. Whereas in Asia, in many countries in Asia, children are taught that taking care of themselves, their personal space, their premises, their bedrooms is something that gives them pleasure. So for example, when you go to Asian schools, and this happens I think in Japan for example, after school, all children stay for a few minutes and tidy up the classroom and clean the classroom and mop the floors, sweep and mop the floors. They clean the tables, they clean the blackboards. They take care of their classroom because to them that is pleasant. The fact that everything smells good and that they are seeing how clean things are in a mindful way makes them feel pleasant, happy, and comfortable. But we're not taught that in the Western world, are we? We're taught that it's a job to be done. And like that, instead of becoming an activity that we can have pleasure in doing, it becomes a heavy burden. So there we go again. Turning chores into something pleasant will increase our own energy, will increase our own passion, and will make us feel better. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what you just said. What is the definition of the word chores? It's you have to do something that you've left pending, or that it's a necessity to do those things. It's not necessarily something you want to do. It's something that needs to be done.
Exactly.
Most people don't like to do things that they don't want to do by definition.
So the first thing would be, okay, why don't we turn household chores into household activities, experiences? Why don't we create this new idea that cleaning, tidying up, and organizing things at home is fun, and it's entertaining, and it's pleasurable? We always teach our children the opposite. We tell them, this is not good, this is boring, this is something heavy. So first thing, turn it into something pleasant. Second thing, fill it up with energy, passion. You can relate it to the arts, we said, but there are many other things you can do. Another example would be, why don't you turn it into a competition? We are also taught that we have to compete and be the best at everything. That is something very Western. We're taught that we have to be the best at everything. So why don't we use that mentality to turn household chores into something fun? We could create a competition. If we live alone, we can compete against ourselves. Like athletes do.
You can time yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You can time yourself. You can say, okay, how long is it going to take me to cook lunch today? Can I do it under 20 minutes? Can I do it until under 15 minutes? And you can design menus and you can cook menus that take less than 15 minutes and are still healthy and tasty.
Yes. Because you can cook a lot of things in 15 minutes. Not necessarily it's going to be good.
Well, but that's a competition. You can try, Or, okay, I have to clean the bathrooms every day. Or I have to change my bed sheets every week. How can I do it in an original way every day? Can I do it like starting from one end to the other? Which one is the best? Make it fun for yourself. Turn it into a competition. And if you have children, or there are other members in your household, not necessarily children, okay? We can turn it into a competition as well. We can say, okay, we're going to divide the household chores, and every week one member of the family is going to be in charge of 1 or 2 or 3 chores. And we're going to judge those chores, and the winner, the one that does it best, is going to get to choose lunch on Sunday, something like that. And like that, we're going to motivate everybody, because that's the other part. We turn them into something pleasant. We fill ourselves with energy, but then we have to turn those chores into something that motivates us. What is it? What is in those chores for us? What do we gain? Why should we carry them out every day? Because we are inclined to doing them. The way things are today, how many of you feel inclined to doing household chores? Go like this if you're inclined, or you can write a sad face or a happy face. Just let us see how many of you watching us today are inclined to doing household chores. Okay, you really feel motivated to doing them. There's people who love them though. Don't misunderstand me. There's people who love tidying up and keeping everything in order and keeping everything in its right place, and they really derive a lot of pleasure from that. So how can we learn from those people? What is it that motivates them? Do you know what motivates a person to keeping everything in order? James?
I mean, I know a few different reasons for it, but each person's different, so I can't just say there's one set reason.
Okay, give me one example.
Well, for example, there's a lot of people that care a lot about aesthetics. They care about having clean spaces, open spaces, minimalistic spaces. So as soon as there's a little bit of clutter, they feel unbalanced because they need that harmony within their environments. For example, that's partially also Feng Shui. Feng Shui also instills tidying up and order. It's not just a matter of moving things and where you feel that they're better. So even in such art, you can see how important it is to do those chores.
Yes.
Then another reason, for example, is that when people tidy up, the repetitive motion of tidying up, of cleaning. For example, if someone's using the broom, sweeping,
yeah.
Thank you. Just the mere fact of doing that and feeling, because they immerse themselves in the activity, they feel the broom touching the floor and they feel the emotion constantly going like that. They kind of enter this state of flow where they're at peace. In fact, I know a few people that are like this, and when I've seen them clean and they're in that state of flow, you try to talk to them. You'll be like, "Hey, do you want some tea? Would you like to have a coffee?" They won't answer you. They don't even realize you're there. It's incredible because their world completely disappears, and it's just them and the broom.
So there are two important things here that you just said, James. One of them is the pleasure of aesthetics, and the second one is entering a state of flow. So that gives us a hint. What do you enjoy? Do you enjoy, for example, color-coded things? Do you enjoy tidy, organized things? Do you enjoy having cozy, personal items around you? Do you enjoy repetitive movements? What is it that makes you feel pleasure? If you find that, you can turn your chores into a repetition of that. For example, if you suddenly decide, I really like things that are organized, for example, by sizes or colors, because I just discovered this makes me feel really comfortable. When I enter a place that is all color-coded, I feel at ease and I feel comfortable. So why don't you try organizing your kitchen and your house like that? If you do that and you have everything organized by colors, every time something is out of place, you'll feel uncomfortable and you'll feel prompted to put it back. And that will be your motivation. You just said motion. People feel like they enter this state of flow when they're repeating certain motions and certain movements. That is what really makes you feel okay. Why don't you create activities, household chores that require that repetition? And you just do them like that. So you have to cook, organize chopping activities. Chop all your vegetables the same way, the same size, the same everything, until you're ready to cook. And that would give you that feeling. Imagine you like just the opposite. You like cluttered spaces where you feel like everything is lived and everything is a little messy, because when things are too organized, you feel uncomfortable. Well, that could be your thing. You could start on one end of your house and say, this doesn't look unorganized in the way I like it. Why don't you go ahead and do it like that? Everything has a certain way for each person. Find your way, and then things will become much easier and will have much more meaning. Which brings me back to that flow that you mentioned. Flow and the state of flow is a concept created by a Hungarian psychologist a few years ago. His name is something like Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I'm sorry for my Hungarian, it's not a language I speak, and his name is really complicated. Please forgive me for this pronunciation, but this psychologist discovered that we human beings don't just have two natural states, sleeping and awake, but there's a third state that we all enter, all of us, even if we didn't know it, that he called the state of flow. This state of flow is something we all know, but not consciously many times, and something that once you know, you can start using for your own benefit. What is the state of flow? The state of flow is that state that a human being enters when they start concentrating on something, focusing, until they're so focused on whatever it is that they're doing, that it's like the world around them vanishes. It's like time becomes this flexible thing. You don't know whether it's running or not. You don't know how long you're immersed in that activity. There's no feelings. There's no actual thought. In spite of which, you're completely aware of who you are. There's no doubt about yourself. And you're just focused. When you're in that state, life is perfect. You are perfect. Everything is perfect. In this state of flow, we are absolutely at ease and enjoying everything we're doing. So managing to enter the state of flow gives you this added bonus. You're feeling perfectly fine. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing horrible. Everything is perfect. Plus, and I bet you know this, all the other scholars that studied the state of flow concluded that at the state of flow, we are at our most creative as human beings. The greatest creations were created in the state of flow because there's nothing else. In order to enter the state of flow, though, okay, and these are the things you should look for. Dun, 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 dun. In order to enter that state of flow, you need to concentrate on one activity that is not too easy, because if it's too easy, you just do it without caring. You don't need to enter the state of flow. But it's not too difficult either, because if it's too difficult and you don't make any progress, you're going to get out, because you're going to feel frustrated. So it's something that's demanding. For example, you know, the sweeping is not demanding unless you're really taking care of sweeping perfectly. Then it might be demanding. It could be something repetitive, or it could be something that is not repetitive at all. It depends on your personality. Plus, it needs to be something that you really want to do, okay? So those are the conditions for you to enter the state of flow. Whenever you enter the state of flow and you really get immersed in that activity, the activity flows, you flow too. So finding your state of flow could help you do household chores in an easy, fun, creative, entertaining way.
True.
Yeah. And mindfulness helps some people enter the state of flow, not everyone, okay? So you could also try doing whatever it is that you usually do regarding household chores, like sweeping, ironing, washing, cleaning. You could try and do it using your 5 senses. You could try and feel everything you can feel while doing the activity, but you could also hear everything hearable in that activity. You can look at everything you're doing and try and obtain as much information as you can out of that activity. You could even smell all the smells involved in that activity and even see if there's any taste, because smell and taste are very related. When you enter the state of flow through mindfulness, there's nothing else but that activity. And using the 5 senses can sometimes lead us into doing that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you look at the household chores, a great one to start with for that, funnily enough, is washing dishes. You know, you use all of your senses to do that because, well, you have the water that's flowing and that causes sound. Doing the dishes while you're cleaning them, and that produces a smell. You know, you're using your hands, and you can't just drift away into a different place because the dish will be dirty if not, you know, because you actually have to get rid of the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you're using your hands and you're using your sight to do these things. A lot of people, they think, oh, okay, I can just do this and just think about other things during my day, I'll just do it quick. No, in reality, a person can't do that because it forces them to be there if you want to have clean plates. So that's a great one to start with because it kind of forces you in that state versus the other ones, you have to make the conscious effort to do it.
Okay, so if we're washing dishes, hand washing dishes,
Yes.
how do we use the other 4 senses? Okay, that's it. We're going to start by sight. Okay, we are seeing, yeah, of course, we're seeing everything. We're looking for the dirt.
Exactly.
We're trying to see where we have already washed. We're checking the water. We're looking at our environment. At the same time, we're washing the dishes. We're looking at everything. What color is the soap? What color are the bubbles? What color are the plates? What shape do they have? We're extracting as much information as we can, visually speaking. And when we run out of things to learn visually, then we start learning everything we can using our hearing sense. So what sounds can I hear right now while I'm washing my dishes? I'm hearing the water. I'm hearing maybe the scratching of the surface with my I don't know, sponge or whatever it is that I'm using.
Yeah.
I'm hearing my own breathing maybe. I'm hearing the splash of the water, not only the running of the water, but the splashing of the water. Then I can, after I obtain all that hearing information, I can feel everything. So the temperature, the sensation of the floor under our feet, everything, and so on, right?
Yes, exactly. You can even smell it.
Yeah. All the
So
different smells.
Yes, exactly. And let me just add, because you said right at the beginning of this, where can you find the dirt? And if you actually think about that, like I said before with chores, think about the language that you're using. You are saying that in a negative context. Dirt, we tend to consider dirt as something bad. Most people don't see it as something that actually gives us life, which we eat from dirt. But anyways, if you think, okay, where do I see the dirt? You can flip it and say, where do I see that it's clean? How is it becoming cleaner?
How am I getting it cleaner?
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Because I feel like a lot of people when they do chores, especially for example doing the dishes, I really don't like doing the dishes specifically because of that, because of the dirt. I think it's quite yucky, so I don't like to do it. But when you flip it and you think, okay, how is it becoming clean? And you focus on the clean aspect rather than on the dirty aspect, for me, at least personally, it becomes easier and it can even become enjoyable because, oh, it's shiny, it's nice, it looks pretty. I even sometimes want to just put it up on display.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about how to turn household chores into something positive, we gave you already a few ideas, a few tips, but there's much more. Household chores are a source of learning. We in Humanology always talk about the 5 basic human needs. All human beings need to feel somehow secure or safe. We all need a certain sense of adventure. We all need a certain sense of love, loving and feeling loved. We all need, all of us, a certain sense of growth. We need to feel like we're growing. And finally, we all need a certain sense of contribution. And satisfying and fulfilling those 5 needs is part of our human experience. Whenever there is one of those needs that feels really empty, we have this hole inside of ourselves, and unless we start filling it up, we are not happy. So imagine somebody who feels really insecure. They need to fulfill that need for security because unless they fill it up, they're going to feel really lousy. And that happens to every human being. Whenever there's a need we're not fulfilling, we feel bad. So taking household chores from this point of view, we could learn a lot of skills and we could learn a lot of new habits and new tools that could help us feel those 5 basic needs if we could relate them, all right? Let's see. For example, we spoke about adventure, a sense of adventure. Creating new dishes, tasting new food, like from different countries, is an adventure in itself. So even if we're locked down, even if we're in confinement, even if we can't go out of the house, we could use this household chore as a new door to adventure. Mm-hmm. We could really say, okay, this is going to be every Sunday. I'm going to choose a nationality or a culture, and I'm going to cook dishes for that culture or from that culture, and I'm going to experiment. And if you're living with your family or with a group of friends, you could make it, a fun day in which everybody's going to be immersed in that culture. That is adventurous. That will give you a sense of adventure, and you could look forward to doing that.
Yes.
Another example, growth. Learning how to do something better already gives you new skills. I remember movie we were discussing the other day, just by coincidence. You know, Karate Kid.
Oh.
Karate Kid is this movie where we have this karate teacher that teaches a kid to learn karate, and he teaches him in a very unorthodox way. Instead of giving him the moves and all these things, he helps him by teaching him how to clean and polish a car. So he gives him some polishing sponges or something and teaches him to do this type of movement while polishing the car until he reaches perfection in the movement. And the kid gets really upset by saying, I didn't come here to clean the car. I didn't come here to clean the car. I came here to learn karate.
You're taking advantage of me.
You just want me to polish your car. You're not teaching me anything. Well, at the end of the day, when he really went to compete, his moves were so perfect. He beat everybody, of course. Well, not only is it a movie, but it was a Hollywood blockbuster. If you didn't watch it, you can go and watch it now. So it's the same thing. You know, you can use household chores to learn new skills. You know, I'm really clumsy with my hands. I have this belief, and I usually say it. So learning how to clean certain things that require fine-tuning of my motor skills is a great way to develop that skill. And I could approach it as a growth phase. I could use it to learn new moves, and that will help me grow as a human being. And if we have children at home, we can also use this technique. You know, identify which new skills or what skills your kid needs to develop, and find the different skills in the different household chores and help them see that they're learning that. Don't tell them they're learning how to clean the bathroom. Tell them they're learning how to be very, very specific in their targets. Or tell them they're really learning how to focus on one task at the same time. And giving them that and helping them realize that what they're learning has an application later in life is also a great motivator. Yes, James?
I was just going to say that if your kids have seen Karate Kid, you could always tell them that do they want to be Karate Kid? You can also use that.
Yeah, of course. You know, by helping them see the applicability of what they're learning at home later in life, things become much easier. And this doesn't only apply to children, huh? It also applies to you. Everything we learn in life has a certain application later. And learning to do things in a certain way will help us expand or deepen our own skills, our own abilities. So ask yourself, what is it that I could learn from this household chore? Mm-hmm. So, for example, imagine you have to iron. Well, if you're like me, you'll just take the creases out. That's it. Can you see a crease? No, that's fine. That's good enough for me. But maybe I could say, well, okay, you know, I'm not a very patient human being. I tend to do everything very quickly. Don't laugh at me. So maybe I could use ironing as a method to teach myself more patience, more detailed and specific working skills. I could use ironing to learn to be more focused on detail. What?
Yeah, I literally just said that.
Focused on detail. So by giving myself the chance to learn to iron to perfection, I'm going to really expand my skill basis. Do you see it?
I like the example of folding clothes, actually, because if you look at folding clothes, a lot of people, they just, you fold them, boom, and then you put them in your wardrobe, that's it. You don't actually give thought of what it is that you're doing. You know, your parents told you have to fold your clothes, and that's it. You just, you do it. But you don't think, why? Why am I folding clothes? And why like this? You know, there's this woman called Marie Kondo who actually loves to clean and tidy up.
I told you there were some like that.
Yes. And one of the things that she explains and that she perfected is the art of folding clothes. She explains that your clothes are a part of you as well. You chose those clothes. You choose to put them on. They represent you and your personality and who you are. So why are you not taking time to take care of them and fold them and show them love? Why are you just doing it in 5 minutes and just shoving them in a dark closet only to maybe be seen again? She explains that when we actually take the conscious time to fold the clothes, and she even has a specific way of folding each clothes, and she has books where it's detailed with diagrams for socks, for underwear, for everything. Everything has a specific type of folding, because she explains that when you do this and you are conscious about it, it helps you connect with your clothes more. It helps you feel more at peace and enter that state of flow that we were mentioning before. And it helps you realize and appreciate much more the things that you have. You feel much more gratitude. So not only are you learning a completely new art, because it's considered an art, the art of folding clothes, but you're learning about yourself, you're connecting with your things, and you're feeling more gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's absolutely amazing, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, and Marie Kondo doesn't stop at clothes.
Oh, no.
Okay. She goes much farther. If you're interested, I would recommend some of her books. And there's now a Netflix show, I think,
Yes.
that I haven't watched yet because I read her books.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
well, what Marie Kondo also says is, okay, the art of tidying up involves connecting with every item in your house and feeling that connection, whether that item in your house brings you joy or not, whether that item has some special meaning or some special connection with you. And if it doesn't, then maybe it's time for it to go somewhere else and give joy to somebody else. And this could also be another way in which to do household chores. Connecting with each item in your house. Imagine you're tidying up the kitchen. So you're emptying the dishwasher, and every item you take in your hands from the dishwasher, you have to tidy up, you have to put away. So feeling that connection with every fork, every knife, every glass, every plate, and asking yourself, well, is this something I really feel connected to? Is this something that makes part of my own home, where I feel safe, where I feel treasured, where I feel loved, or where I want to be treasured, loved, and safe? Well, does it? Yes. It's part of me. It's part of my house. It's part of my life. Then store it with love. Keep it with tenderness. If it's not, well, maybe it needs to find a new home. Maybe you need to just downsize. Maybe you have a lot of things in your house that just clutter your home and give you a lack of peace of mind. Maybe there are just too many things around that don't help you be at ease. So there goes another tip. Not only are you going to be creating or growing your passion to feel energized, which is the first thing we said, we also said that you can create competition and fun in your activities so that they're more entertaining and more pleasant. We also mentioned that you can learn from the activities you're doing at home, and that will increase your skill basis. But now we're also telling you that you can feel more connected to your home and create a space that is really something that brings you joy, satisfaction, peace, whatever it is that you're trying to reach. Your home should be your castle, as the saying goes in English. And every piece, every brick, every stone in that castle should make you feel safe, comfortable, and at ease. And if there are things there that don't make you feel like that, maybe it's time to let them go. And some people might say here, yeah, well, I don't find any peace in cleaning the bathroom toilet. And I say, well, yeah, maybe you don't find peace in cleaning the seat. What about sitting on it when you have to use it? Do you feel at peace when it's clean? That's where you find the peace. That's where you find the satisfaction. Do you see the connection now?
Oh yes, definitely. I think nobody likes to sit on a dirty toilet, in all fairness.
So this little Marie Kondo mentioning is something that is very much related to your motivation as well. Find your motivation and things will become much easier. So what about we give them some practical tips? We already told you about mindfulness and how you can do activities in a mindful way so they become more satisfactory. What about giving you a few ideas on how to do 2 or 3 household chores so they become more pleasant, more motivational, more inspiring? Are you ready for that, James?
Sure.
Okay, so let's start with, for example, hanging the clothes to dry. Okay, you just finished your washing, your clothes are wet, and you go like, oh, I have to hang the clothes to dry again. Oh, shoot. Well, Marie Kondo is the first thing I think of. You can take every piece of clothes out of the washing machine and feel the connection with it. It's a great time to connect with your clothes and the clothes of your family, okay? Because if you have children, maybe you bought those clothes for them.
True. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to say that we're not Marie Kondo experts.
No.
So if you want more information on that, check her out. Check all of her work out. We're just giving some tips. But saying what you just said about the kids, Marie Kondo actually suggests that you do it with your children.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. That was what I was going to say later on.
Sorry.
So what I was saying is, you bought those clothes for your kids. Maybe, if it's a little tiny baby, you can't do that.
Right.
So feel the connection again. Feel, maybe it was a gift from somebody. Feel the love they gave you or they gave your child through that gift. And then place it in the rack with love in a way that will not damage the cloth. Okay? And now it comes if... Sorry, we just got blurred. There we go.
Should go back to it being normal.
Okay, there it goes. So sorry for that. So if it's your kids' clothes, well, maybe they can come and help you, and they can take care of their own clothes, and you can teach them how to connect with the clothes. And when you set them to dry on the rack, you can just organize them. Second tip, color coded. We go back to that passion. If you feel comfortable with color coding, why don't you hang your clothes in a color coded way? Or if you are a little, into organizing things very well, you could put all the different clothes, like my husband's clothes here, my children's clothes here, my clothes here. You could organize them according to the owner. Or you could also organize them according to the type of clothes. All shirts and blouses go here, all pants go here, all socks go here, because it's easier for me to collect them later. For example, by doing this, the hanging of the clothes becomes a completely different activity, doesn't it? There we go. We gave you 3-4 different ideas on how to hang clothes to make it a different activity. And you could even try all of them on alternating days so it doesn't become boring, right?
Exactly.
So we spoke about hanging clothes to dry. What about, do you have another idea for a chore that we can turn into something fun?
Yes, actually I do.
Okay, go for it.
So mopping, it's not a lot of fun to be honest, but it can even become a family activity. So what you can do is basically the house slippers that you've got, okay, you can get the mopping material and place that on a table. Okay, you're going to put the slipper on top, and then with a marker you're going to shape the slipper on the mop material, and then you're going to cut that mop material into the shape of your slipper, and with some super glue or some glue gun, things like that, you're going to put that on the shoe and paste it together. Now you've got slippers that actually mop your floor and clean your floor at the same time. Now, you can do that with all your family, and you can create dance parties and things like that, where you all put on those shoes specifically to mop, but you're dancing. And you
or skating.
Exactly, yes. You can ice skate in your house. There you go.
Mop skate.
Well, yeah.
Let's create mopping skating activities.
I mean, why not? But yeah, that's a fun activity that you can do with your kids that helps you clean. It's not going to do the mopping perfectly, but it helps them see that chores don't necessarily have to be boring, that they don't necessarily have to be something that you just have to do and there's no way around it.
Mm-hmm.
By showing them that you can be creative about it, that you can have fun with it, you will see that they will start taking the initiative to do that and start tidying up themselves, because they're going to start making it a game. Kids have a great imagination for that. So if you show them that you can create games with this, you will most probably see that your kids later on do that themselves without your help.
Yeah. And you can drop skate yourself too. Huh? It doesn't necessarily have to be just the kids. And it's a great source of energy, of exercise.
Yes.
See, one of the things we try to teach in Humanology is also how to create those neurotransmitters that make us feel well, that make us feel good. And endorphins and serotonin are some of those that make us feel happy. So exercising is a great source of both of them. If you start mopping while skating, mop skating, you're going to be exercising at the same time. It's not just mopping with a mop, it's also moving your whole body. And that is some kind of exercising. That's going to help you. If you do it with your kids, there might be some oxytocin released at the same time because there's this connection because you're doing an activity together. And that's also going to make you feel connected, and it's going to be a fun way to spend some time with your family. It's not just a chore now, it's just a fun activity to do together. So by turning household chores into something else, we take away this burden aspect of the chore and we turn it into something else, something completely different. It's a learning activity, it's a fun activity, it's an exercise, it's a creative activity. You can use all these chores to help people feel good about what they're doing. Like we said at the beginning, like Asians do. Asians teach their children that household chores are good, positive, fun, entertaining, and everything positive. Just the opposite of what we teach our children in the Western world. Okay, one more, and then we're just going to give you one more, and then we're done with how to turn household chores into something else. Do you have another one? Because I see you smiling, or should I say one?
Oh, I've got plenty in my head. If you want, I can say one. Or
Okay, say one and then I'll add mine.
All right, no worries. Mine's quite quick anyways.
Okay.
So going back to your kids, if, for example, you have difficulties with your kids tidying up their clothes, they just leave them on the floor, you want them to help doing the laundry and things like that. One thing that you can do is you can make their laundry chute into a little basketball hoop. So you can just even have a specific place, or you can even create a net that has different points, so it becomes a kind of like a point system game, where they throw their t-shirts through that to get into the bag, and like that they will start having fun doing that because I scored points, woo, and things like that. And for example, if they bring their laundry to the laundry room after that, positive reinforcement. You can celebrate together, or you can have something nice together. Yeah, exactly. Or you can even play a game afterwards together. They will associate that positivity to the activity. So the more they do that, the more they're going to want activities like that, because not only are they being, in a way, rewarded for doing something like that, they feel good about themselves. They're helping, they're being productive, and they're letting their inner child, be free by playing. We all have that. Adults can do this as well, It's not just for kids. It's good to remind yourself that we're all kids at times,
Doesn't matter how old you are. You can be 70 and still play.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You can play basketball with your own washing machine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun, just for the fun of it. Yeah. So we have time. Let's use it for something fun. Let me just add one more. I know a lot of people who suffer, really, really suffer when having to decide what to have for lunch or dinner. Especially now that we're in lockdown, now that we're at home, now that we can't go out that often. Inventing lunches and dinners every day has become a very heavy burden for certain people. It's like, I don't know what else to cook. I hate eating the same food over and over again. I don't like cooking, and I have to cook every day, at least twice every day, because I'm not alone and I have members of my family with me, for example. Okay, so how can we turn that into something fun? Or something that teaches us, All right, let's go through different learnings. We could use it as a growth activity, all right? How can I learn something else about this? Well, why don't we start working on setting priorities? Okay, we could have like an exercise in which we're going to learn about priorities throughout the whole week. Every week, every Monday, we're going to open the fridge and we're going to say, and we could do this with our kids as well, we're going to say, okay, what is it that we have in the fridge? Imagine you go shopping on Saturdays, okay? What do I have in the fridge? Okay, I have all this. What needs to be cooked before? What is the number one priority? What is going to spoil first? You could create the priorities of what needs to be cooked first and create dishes around that. That's an easy way to learn about priorities, okay? Or you could also use nutritional values, all right? If I have to satisfy the nutritional values of all the members of my family, how can I do that with what I have in the fridge? And I have to plan it for a whole week. That's a great learning activity. Imagine you don't want to just learn something. You want to create satisfaction, as we said before, okay? Why don't you use mindfulness to create dishes that require the 5 senses? You could say, okay, every day for lunch or dinner, and you could just choose one of them if it's too much for the 2 big meals in the day. Every day I'm going to create at least one dish that we need to experience using the 5 senses. Its image has to have an impact. Its texture has to have an impact. It could be the texture when we swallow it or when we are cutting it or doing something with it. Its smell has to have a certain impact. The way it sounds when we eat it has to have a certain impact. So by that, we're going to create dishes that require the 5 senses. That is going to help us in mindfulness. That is going to create satisfaction. And we could even, going back to what we said before, we could even create a certain competition. And at the end of the month, we could have the members of the family vote for the best achieved dish in mindfulness. That could be a fun activity for the whole family as well. By doing that, cooking becomes something else. Cooking is not just preparing a meal that we have to eat as sustenance to continue being healthy and surviving throughout this horrible pandemic. You see? And you could also do something else. You could start teaching your children how to cook easy dishes. By teaching them how to do certain things in the household, you're going to be creating a better bonding activity with them. You could do it as a fun activity, like, okay, we're going to do it rotationally. I'm going to teach you how to chop vegetables. The first day, you're going to learn from me. I'm going to do it for you, and I'm going to explain the theory, and you're going to learn by watching. The second day, you're going to start doing it. The third day, I'm going to correct your technique. The fourth day, you're going to do it. The fifth day, you're going to put it in the food, and we're going to eat what you cooked. So little by little, you're giving your children a greater self-esteem, and you're teaching them a skill that they can learn, that they can use later in life. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea. I believe that a lot of parents think that their kids many times are too young to do chores, but I believe quite the opposite. When you start young, it becomes easier for them afterwards. You know, there's so many adults that don't know how to fry an egg, or they don't know how to put on their washing machine, their laundry. They don't know how to do laundry because they weren't taught, because that was pushed aside, because it's not the priority. Start young. Start with your kids young, because that will help them later on in life, not only to make it easier, but just, like you said, to have that connection with them. You will have that bond that is unbreakable. So.
Yeah, and household chores won't be a burden anymore. They'll be part of daily life, and they'll be a learning opportunity, they'll be a fun activity, they'll be whatever you want them to be. It's your choice to turn household chores into something that you wish to do. We hope that these little tips and ideas help you. We try to give you a variety of ideas that can help you deal with household chores from a completely different perspective. I hope we managed to inspire you. Please, as we always say, use Messenger to send us your comments. Let us know if you liked it. Please share this information so other people can also use it, because, well, we're going to be offering you 1 Humanology tips every Monday. Maybe today's topic was not your number one interest, but maybe next week it is, but you don't know who might be very, very interested in these contents. You don't know who might be needing to know how to do this. So please share it if you found it at least interesting, so other people can benefit from this too. And remember, we're here to help. We're here to offer you ideas. We're here to just spread information and knowledge and hopefully a little wisdom. If you have a topic that is bothering you, do contact us. You can use Messenger. You can write it right there and we will get back to you. Or you can use the inbox by sending us a private message. We will read it. We will get back to you. If you don't want to be mentioned, you just say, please keep it anonymous. You can also use our email address, info@instituteofhumanology.com, and ask us your question, pose your problem, and we will get back to you on the next editions of Humanology Tips.
And what if someone wants a session?
Oh, of course, by all means. If you need to talk to us, if you need a session, let me remind you that the whole Institute of Humanology is now offering free optimism coaching sessions to those who need them. Those sessions last about an hour and they are with one of our optimism coaches or coaches. So if you want a free optimism coaching session, you just need to contact us, ask for it, tell us what country you're connecting with or you're connecting from, because we have people from all around the world and it would make it easier for us to find the right time to connect with you and offer you that free session. If you need something else, if you need any humanology sessions, or if you'd like to know more, just shoot us a message. We're here to give you all the knowledge we can. We're here to offer you our assistance. Remember that humanology is the new discipline that studies and explains human beings. Without knowing who you are, without understanding who you are, how are you going to make progress? That's what humanology does. Any last message before we finish?
Humanology gives you the tools to take charge of your life, for you to be invincible. You know, it helps you, it helps you become that version of yourself that you want to be. So please contact us, share this. We're happy to help.
And like every day, I send you all my love. I send you, I suppose you too, but I send you a big, big, big loving hug. And remember that life will be what you make of it. All right? If you don't know how to make it the life you want, just get back to us. Have a fantastic week. We'll see you next Monday here on Humanology Tips. And if not, follow us on our YouTube channel. Hi, and thank you.
Hi. Have a nice day.